Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. I remember walking through the halls of my high school like it was yesterday. My name's Alex, and back then I was that guy everyone seemed to just walk by like I was part of the wall or something. I had messy brown hair that always fell into my eyes, and I wore these big glasses that slid down my nose. My clothes. Well, they were nothing special, just plain t-shirts and jeans. I was the kind of guy who always sat at the back of the class, trying to be invisible. The bell rang for lunch, and as usual, I headed to the library. It was my safe spot, you know? I'd sit there, eating the sandwich Mom made me, and lose myself in books about far-off places and adventures. It was better than sitting in the cafeteria, listening to the whispers and feeling those stares. One day, while I was walking through the hallway, I overheard some guys from the football team talking. "Have you seen Alex today? He looks like he just rolled out of bed," one of them laughed. I quickened my pace, my face burning. I didn't want to hear more. That weekend, like many before, I found my escape. I slipped into my secret hobby, something no one at school knew about. I loved cross-dressing. It wasn't just about the clothes. It was like stepping into a different world, a place where I could be someone else. Someone confident and beautiful. I remember that Saturday vividly. I wore a soft, flowing blue dress that reached just above my knees, with delicate lace at the edges. Underneath, I had on a pair of smooth, sheer nylons that felt like a second skin. My feet were snug in a pair of modest black heels. Nothing too high, just enough to give me a graceful posture. I spent hours in front of the mirror, adjusting my wig of long, curly blonde hair. It framed my face perfectly, hiding those features I was so used to hiding behind my glasses. I applied makeup with care, enhancing my eyes and giving my lips a subtle pink tint. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. I wasn't Alex, the invisible guy from school. I was someone else, someone beautiful. With my heart racing, I stepped out into the world. I loved going to places where no one knew me. That day, I decided to go to a local salon. I wanted to feel pampered, to experience the little luxuries I saw other girls enjoy. The salon was bright and welcoming, with soft music playing in the background. I took a deep breath and walked in, my heels clicking softly on the floor. The receptionist, a friendly woman with bright red hair, smiled at me. "How can we help you today?" she asked. I felt a surge of confidence. "I'd like a manicure, please," I said, my voice steady. While I sat at the nail station, I couldn't help but notice how different everything felt. The way the nail artist chatted with me, asking about my day, my plans for the weekend, it was like I was part of a world I'd only ever watched from the outside. After the salon, I strolled through the nearby shopping center. I visited a few clothing stores, running my fingers over the soft fabrics, admiring dresses and skirts I'd love to add to my collection. The salespeople were helpful, suggesting items and complimenting my choices. It was exhilarating being treated like any other girl out shopping on a Saturday. As I was looking through a rack of dresses in one store, I heard a familiar voice. My heart stopped for a second. It was Jenna, the head cheerleader from my school. She was popular, the kind of girl who always had a group of friends around her, laughing and talking. I ducked behind the rack, my mind racing. Did she see me? Did she recognize me? I peeked out cautiously. She was alone, looking at a dress, holding it against her to check the length. She looked different outside of school, more relaxed, less like the untouchable cheerleader, and more like just another teenage girl. Taking a deep breath, I stepped out from behind the rack, pretending to be interested in a dress nearby. I could feel her eyes on me, and I knew I had to act natural. "Excuse me," Jenna said, her voice friendly. "I love your dress. Where did you get it?" I turned to her, trying to keep my voice from shaking. "Oh, thank you. I got it online, actually." We started talking about clothes, and I was surprised at how easy it was to chat with her. She had a warm smile and seemed genuinely interested in what I had to say. It felt surreal, talking to one of the most popular girls in school, and her not having any idea who I really was. As we talked, I could see her studying my face, a curious look in her eyes. It made me nervous, but I kept talking, discussing fashion and the latest trends. She was talking about a new makeup technique she'd tried, and I found myself giving her tips. It was a strange feeling, sharing a part of me that no one at school had ever seen. Then there was this moment. She tilted her head, squinting a little, and said, "You know, you remind me of someone from my school. It's probably just a coincidence, though." My heart raced. Did she know? I forced a laugh. "Oh, I get that a lot. I guess I have one of those faces." We continued talking, moving from clothes to movies and music. It was the most natural conversation I'd ever had, and for a moment, I forgot all about the fear of being recognized. It was just two girls, chatting about the things they loved. As we were saying goodbye, Jenna looked at me one more time. "Well, it was really nice meeting you," she said. "You're really easy to talk to. I wish I had more friends like you at school." I smiled, feeling a mix of happiness and sadness. "Thanks, Jenna. I wish the same." Walking back home, I thought about the day. I had talked to the most popular girl in school, and she didn't know it was me. It was like living in a dream, being someone else for a while. But as I reached my house and looked at myself in the mirror, taking off the wig and makeup, I felt a pang of loneliness. I was back to being Alex, the invisible guy at school. That night, I lay in bed, thinking about everything. The joy of being someone else, the thrill of talking to Jenna, and the loneliness that came with hiding my true self. I wondered what would happen if people at school found out about my secret hobby. Would they laugh at me? Would they understand? But there was also a small hope growing inside me. Jenna's words kept echoing in my mind. "I wish I had more friends like you at school." Maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for me to be accepted for who I really was, both Alex and the person I became when I cross-dressed. As I drifted off to sleep, I made a decision. I would keep exploring this part of me no matter what. It was a part of who I was, and I couldn't just hide it away forever. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew I had to be true to myself. That night, for the first time in a long time, I fell asleep with a smile on my face. The journey ahead was uncertain, but I was ready to face it, one step at a time. The following week at school was the same old routine. I sat through classes, ate lunch in the library, and tried to make myself invisible. But inside, I was different. I kept thinking about my conversation with Jenna. It felt like I was carrying around a big secret, one that made me both nervous and excited. Then came Saturday, my favorite day of the week. It was the day I could be myself, or rather, the other part of me that I kept hidden. I chose a soft pink dress this time, one with a flowy skirt that came down to my knees. Underneath, I wore my favorite pair of silky nylons and a pair of white ballet flats. My wig was a chestnut brown, styled in loose waves. After applying my makeup, I looked in the mirror and smiled. I felt beautiful, confident. I decided to go back to the salon. Last week's experience had been so positive, and I hoped for more of that friendly interaction. As I walked in, the same receptionist greeted me with a smile. "Back for more pampering?" she asked cheerfully. "Yes, I thought I'd treat myself to a pedicure today," I replied. As I sat at the pedicure station, enjoying the feeling of being pampered, the door opened. My heart skipped a beat. It was Jenna walking in with a friend. I panicked for a moment, wondering if I should hide or leave. But then I thought about our last conversation and how nice she had been. Maybe it would be okay. Jenna didn't notice me at first. She was busy talking to her friend, laughing about something. I watched her from under my lashes, admiring how effortlessly beautiful she seemed. Then, as she turned to sit down at a nearby station, her eyes met mine. For a moment, there was a flicker of recognition in her eyes. She looked puzzled, then curious. I felt my face getting hot, my heart racing. She excused herself from her friend and walked over to me. "Hi," she said, a little cautiously. "I feel like we've met before, have we?" I swallowed hard. We talked last weekend about clothes and stuff," I managed to say. Jenna's eyes widened. "Oh my gosh, it is you!" But she looked at me, her expression changing from surprise to something softer, more understanding. You look different. I mean, you looked great last week too, but now I knew this was it, the moment of truth. I took a deep breath. Jenna, there's something I need to tell you. I'm not just some girl you met at the mall. I'm Alex, from school. The look on her face was indescribable. Shock, confusion, and then something else. Was it acceptance? You're Alex? The guy from our school? She whispered, as if saying it louder would make it more real. I nodded, feeling a lump in my throat. Yeah, this is me. Well, another part of me. I like to cross-dress. It's something I've been doing for a long time, but no one knows. Not at school, not my family, nobody. Jenna sat down next to me, her eyes still locked on mine. Wow, Alex, I don't know what to say. This is a lot to take in. I braced myself for the rejection, the laughter, the disgust, but it didn't come. Instead, Jenna reached out and took my hand. You know what, Alex? I think it's amazing. You're brave, and you look beautiful, by the way. This takes a lot of courage. I felt tears stinging my eyes. You really think so? You're not weirded out? Jenna shook her head. Not at all. In fact, I think it's really cool. You're expressing yourself in a way that most people wouldn't dare. And you know what? I want to help you. Help me? I was confused. How? She grinned, her usual confident cheerleader self shining through. Makeovers, shopping, makeup tips. I mean, you're already doing great, but I think we could have a lot of fun together. What do you say, Alex? Want to team up? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The most popular girl in school offering to help me with my cross-dressing? It was like a dream come true. Yes, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I'd like that very much. Jenna squeezed my hand. Then it's a deal. Welcome to the world of fashion and beauty, Alex. Let's make you shine even brighter. As we sat there talking and planning, I felt a weight lifting off my shoulders. After Jenna's offer to help me, our bond grew stronger. She was more than just the popular cheerleader at school. She became my guide into a world I had only explored alone. Our first big project was a complete makeover session at her house. Jenna's room was like a treasure trove of makeup and fashion. The walls were adorned with posters of fashion icons, and her vanity was covered with an array of makeup products. She started by showing me her collection of foundations, concealers, and powders. The key to good makeup is finding the right shade for your skin, Jenna explained. She helped me find my match, teaching me how to apply it for a natural look. We moved on to eyeshadows, eyeliners, and mascaras. Jenna showed me how to create different looks, from subtle daytime to more dramatic evening styles. The most exciting part was when Jenna brought out her collection of wigs. A good wig can completely transform you, she said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. We tried several, from short bobs to long, flowing curls. Each wig changed my appearance and somehow my attitude. I settled on a long, honey blonde wig that made me feel glamorous. Next came the lesson on clothes. Jenna's wardrobe was like a boutique, filled with clothes of various styles and colors. Fashion is about expressing yourself, she said as she picked out a few outfits for me to try. I was amazed at how different fabrics and cuts could change the way I looked and felt. We tried several outfits, and Jenna taught me how to pair them with the right accessories. The day ended with Jenna giving me a list of YouTube channels and blogs about fashion and makeup. Homework, she said with a wink. I left her house feeling not just transformed on the outside, but on the inside, too. With Jenna's guidance, I started embracing my love for fashion and makeup more openly. We planned regular outings, shopping trips, salon visits, and even a photo shoot just for fun. One of our trips was to a high-end boutique. Jenna insisted that I deserved to treat myself. I was hesitant at first, but her enthusiasm was contagious. The boutique was like stepping into a fashion magazine. Clothes of every color and style hung on elegant racks, and soft music played in the background. Jenna picked out a dress for me, a deep red A-line dress that flared out at the waist. "Try this," she said, her eyes gleaming with excitement. In the dressing room, as I slipped the dress on, I felt a transformation. The dress fit perfectly, accentuating my figure and boosting my confidence. We moved on to lingerie. an area I had always been shy about. Jenna was respectful and understanding. She explained the importance of good lingerie and making an outfit work. "It's not just about looking good, but feeling good," she said. I learned about different types of bras, panties, and how to choose the right fit. Our day ended with a visit to a professional makeup artist. Jenna had arranged for a makeup session for both of us. The artist was friendly and skilled, teaching us new techniques. I learned how to contour, how to highlight, and how to choose the right lipstick shades. Every outing with Jenna was an adventure, a step further into embracing my true self. I was no longer just the lonely guy at school. I was becoming someone I was proud to be. The most significant day came when I decided to go to school dressed as my true self. Jenna was my pillar of strength, encouraging me every step of the way. That morning, I dressed carefully, choosing an outfit Jenna and I had picked out together, a pastel pink skater dress with a floral print, paired with a light cardigan. I wore the honey blonde wig, styled in soft waves, and my makeup was subtle but effective. Walking into school, my heart was pounding. I felt every eye on me as I walked down the hallway with Jenna. The murmurs and whispers were impossible to ignore, but Jenna's presence gave me strength. She introduced me to her friends as Alex, her new friend from out of town. They welcomed me with smiles and curiosity, but no signs of judgment. Throughout the day, I interacted with teachers and students, feeling a mix of fear and exhilaration. Some people seemed to suspect, while others were completely oblivious to my real identity. Jenna was by my side, a constant source of support and encouragement. Lunchtime was the real test. Jenna and I sat at her usual table, surrounded by her friends. I was part of their conversations, their laughter, and for the first time, I felt like I belonged. I was no longer the lonely guy from the back of the class. I was part of something, part of a group. As the day went on, I started to relax. The initial fear and anxiety gave way to a sense of freedom and authenticity. I was being myself in a way I never had before. People saw me, not just a shadow in the hallway or a nameless face in the crowd. They saw me for who I was, and it was exhilarating. In the hallways, some students did double takes, trying to place the new girl. A few realized who I was, and their reactions varied. Some were shocked, others amused, but many just smiled and greeted me. It was a revelation to see that not everyone was judgmental or unkind. After school, Jenna and I sat in the park, reflecting on the day. "You did it, Alex," she said, her voice full of pride. "You were amazing today." I looked at her, feeling a surge of gratitude. "Thanks to you," I said. "I couldn't have done it without your support." Jenna shook her head. "No, you did this on your own. I just gave you a little nudge. You're the brave one." As we talked, I realized how much had changed since I first met Jenna in the salon. I had gone from a lonely, invisible guy to someone who had the courage to show the world his true colors. I had found a friend who accepted me unconditionally and helped me embrace my passion. The journey wasn't easy, and I knew there would be more challenges ahead. But with Jenna by my side, I felt ready to face them. I wasn't just cross-dressing anymore. I was expressing who I truly was, and it felt right. That evening, as I walked home, I felt a sense of peace. For the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of being seen. I was Alex, and I was proud of it. The lonely days in the library felt like a distant memory. I had found a friend, a passion, and most importantly, I had found myself. The road ahead would be full of challenges, but I knew I was no longer walking it alone. Jenna had opened a door for me, and I had stepped through it with confidence. The world had seen me, and I had seen myself not just as Alex, the lonely guy at school, but as someone bold, beautiful, and unafraid to be different. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.